For months, people were anxiously waiting to hear what James Gunn's plans for the future of the DC universe would look like. And to be quite honest, he got a ton of backlash right away before he even announced what his real plans were, because he decided that he wasn't going to move forward with Henry Cavill, that they would fire Henry Cavill as Superman. They didn't want to use those words, but for all intents and purposes, that's what it was. Moving away from Henry Cavill as Superman. Well, now that James Gunn has officially announced the first slate for the future of his DC universe, he's not afraid to talk bad about the people who were there before him. He's called out people at Warner Brothers. They're not happy about it. Well, now he's also doing the same thing for his old bosses over at Marvel and Disney. Take a look at this headline. James Gunn takes shots at past DC leadership, but also appears to blast Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. And even though things have been fairly cordial from James Gunn and Kevin Feige, at least publicly, there were a lot of rumors out there that Kevin Feige was not happy that James Gunn, a guy who he'd worked with, that he was going over to run DC Studios, to be the direct competitor over there. He wasn't happy about it. And James Gunn has had a couple things to say here and there about the way Marvel does everything. And right now, when you look at what they're doing with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, how some of it looks like, did they really plan this out? Or did they just start writing and things happen and then they tried to film it as they went? Even from people within Marvel, even directors and people that have been working there, they're saying that as well, that they don't have these things planned out. Marvel's been getting blasted by the VFX companies for not having anything planned out and just flying by the seat of their pants and hoping to get it all finished and hope that the mindless drones, the sheep out there, will just continue to consume it time after time. Well, as we've seen with their disappointing box office numbers, hasn't worked out so well. Looks like James Gunn is also calling him out. Now, the first portion of this article does deal with him talking about Warner Brothers, the old guard at Warner Brothers. I made a whole video about that a couple days ago. You can check that out. I wanted to talk about what James Gunn had to say about Marvel. Based on other remarks he made about the MCU, it sounds like he's not doing things the Marvel way despite his tenure there. He and Safran agree, quote, "Everything doesn't always look the same when various filmmakers are brought in to express themselves. This is not the Gunverse," Gunn said of DCU. "What I've found through Marvel, what wasn't exciting was when movies were tonally the same. What was exciting was when you had something like Guardians come out and everything was like, how is this raccoon going to be dealing with this God of Thunder? That's going to be weird." Now, when Guardians came out, I agree, that is how it felt. And a lot of people really like Guardians of the Galaxy for that reason. It felt different, but it felt like it could still be a part of this overall universe. One of the problems with Marvel is that they saw the success of James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, and they tried to make every single movie into exactly that. And now when you tune into a Marvel movie, that's what you're expecting. The same exact tone, all the characters are going to act the same, and people, quite frankly, are just over it. They're sick and tired of it. But he continued to take shots at Marvel. He then took a few shots at the paint-by-numbers strategy of Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. People have become beholden to dates, to holding dates, to getting movies made no matter what. At the end of the day, I'm a writer at heart, and we're not going to be making movies before the screenplay is finished, Gunn explained, because they know that's what they've been doing with Marvel. That's what they've been doing with all these crappy, terrible shows on Disney+. And if that means our plan has to shift a little bit, it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. We're not going to be making movies and putting hundreds of $millions into a film where a screenplay is only 2/3 of the way done, and we have to finish it while we're making the movie. These are all direct commentary on the way that Marvel's been doing things. I've seen it happen again and again, and it's a mess. I think it's the primary reason for the deterioration in the quality of films today versus 30 years ago. These comments appear to be a sure sign the director turned studio head is shutting the door at Marvel behind him when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 releases this year. It is pretty crazy to think that James Gunn is making all these announcements for the future of DC with Warner Brothers while Guardians of the Galaxy is still set to come out. I don't even know when that is, like May time frame, somewhere around there. I'm not exactly sure, but that could very well be Marvel Studios' biggest movie this year, the way that things are going for them. What do you think about this? What do you think the shots that James Gunn is continuing to take towards Marvel, leaving the door, leaving Disney, closing that door behind him and moving on to DC? I personally don't know if he's the right person. I've been very critical of some of the things that he's announced and some of the things that he's said, but it certainly looks like he's not afraid to take jabs, whether it's at the old people at DC or whether it's back at Kevin Feige and the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.